Okay. Can you knock again? Hi.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, I'm working on the entrances.
Yeah.
This is Theo. This is Whitney.
What's up? Good to meet you too.
Oh.
If you don't fake it, then you're cool.
It's so interesting that like once you take your clothes off, you actually become the person with the most power in the room. Everyone assumes that you're the most vulnerable, but because you've made everyone else uncomfortable with your nudity, you kind of can be like, oh, I don't know. For me, it was like very liberating to be like, oh, if I'm not uncomfortable, then you're probably gonna be less uncomfortable, and it's just yeah, the energy is interesting.
Yeah, that's great that you would like find that for yourself in that space.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a good experience for people to have to like understand that a space can remain like in control even if certain variables seem like chaotic or taboo or like something's out of place.
Mm-hmm.
You can still have a structured environment where people like cooperate and collaborate. And no one has to feel put out by that.
Mm-hmm. I honestly get more annoyed when people want to like protect me and my nudity and stuff.
Do people do that?
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, make sure you grab the robe, the robe's over there, go around the corner, change over there. I'm like, if I want to just disrobe here, like, am I going to be offending anyone? Right, I'm going to be naked in 2 seconds,
Yeah, there's a whole protocol there.
Yeah.
It seems like the more formal the institution, the more they protect themselves, I guess, in the end.
Mm-hmm. I worked with an artist yesterday who, I showed up. It was like the first time I'd ever worked with an artist and a photographer at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, I didn't really know what the dynamic was going to be like, but I showed up. I knew the photographer, so I showed up and I was like getting to know the artist. And I just like started setting my stuff down, and he was like, oh, don't disrobe yet, or like don't get naked, because like I don't want to be. It was really awkward. It was like, I'm never naked, or like no one's naked here without someone else, so I'm protected. It's like, all right, man.
Yeah.
And it was like, so you feel safe and protected. It was like, I feel safe whenever the fuck I am. Like, you're not gonna make me feel unsafe no matter what you do.
This is making me feel more unsafe than I did before I approached you to ask if it was cool if I got naked.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I don't know. I think some people get concerned about like the potential energy they might be inflicting on a space without realizing that maybe the people around them aren't thinking about that at all.
Right.
Yeah. Another thing I learned being a figure model.
There's a lot of like energy stuff that I think you can pick up on when you're like, I don't know, that because you become such an observer because you are such a singled out person in that space.
Yeah. You watch people behave like in tiny motions, especially when they're observing you, like they behave in very specific ways. So
It is funny.
It's studying people.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a pretty clear view. It's not like you're on a stage with a huge audience or something where you're blinded by the floodlights. It's you could see the people. I'm sure. I've never had that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. Yeah, that would be strange. Yeah, I didn't have that perspective, I guess.
It's interesting. I think it's like one of the cooler parts of doing this. Certainly, like being observed and depicted is, like I said, not my favorite thing, but it's why I like working with painters, because I understand what I'm looking at when I look at something painted, but photography, film, being in front of like a camera has never been my thing. I don't get what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So yeah, when you're in a space like this, that collaboration I think is one of the more meaningful parts, at least for me.
Do you paint?
Not really. I wish I could. I used to draw a lot as a kid. Would have loved to have been a comic artist, but
That was my dream too.
Yeah, right?
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, so much work. Friends with comic artists, I'm sure you are as well.
Yeah.
They work very hard.
Yeah.
I mean, tirelessly.
Mm-hmm.
There's one woman who I follow, Ashley Max, something, I don't remember. She did these Square comic books that she sort of self-released, and they were really cool. It was like these squirrels that were like warriors, and they had armor and weapons and stuff like that.
I love it.
It was pretty cool.
That's cute.
She also did some series for Anne Rice, I think, and interview with something.
shit.
I don't remember what it was.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, but she was an illustrator who I'd been following for a long time, and she very recently switched over to be in animation. And I could see how that would kind of translate, because if you're a workhorse like that from being an illustrator, that's going to translate pretty directly and immediately to
The
that.
same thing like 50 times.
Right.
Totally.
But it's going to be
wow.
so different than that too, you know. I mean, you're basically creating a puppet, you know, unless she's hand drawing the animation. I don't actually know that detail, but
I
don't think it is. I don't think it is. I'm not totally certain.
That's really cool though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, creating things from nothing. I'm not very good at translating that.
Same.
No.
I'm like, meh, you know, like.
Yeah, I'm terrible at
the
it.
idea of trying to do that it just frustrates me just thinking about it.
Mm.
Are you like a performer at all?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's why I like modeling. 'Cause I like the performative aspect and like being in front of people, and yeah, so it's all clumped in together for me.
Same. I'm finding that through this too,
Yeah,
through this show. And some people are natural performers for whatever reason. They wound up that way,
Mm.
and that's a good way to be.
Yeah.
If that's actually your instinct, you know.
Yeah. My younger sister is like the way that I kind of struggle to bring myself out, she just can't help but radiate. So yeah, I've always had a very healthy appreciation for people who are expressive and like comfortable in front of people, but also enjoy being in front of people. You know, who enjoy like guiding the room. I think it's really cool.
Totally. Yeah, and some people have a serious knack for that kind of thing, you know, like just being able to step up and be eloquent immediately in front of a crowd. It's like, wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a skill that I have. I think I'm much better at just being like, I'm willing to be here, do anything that we want to do, and like put my best into it, you know?
Yeah. Being easygoing is nice.
That's, yes. Yeah.
Easygoing.
Do you do astrology in any way? Would you? No?
No, I mean, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But,
do you know your signs or anything?
Well, my birthday is July 20th, so I know it makes me a Cancer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not nice to say that about yourself.
Cancer?
Say that to everybody born in this time period.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if there were like astrology bullies,
Yeah.
they'd hurl.
Well, there are plenty. I've met them.
Yeah.
Maybe Aries.
Well, they immediately judge as soon as they find out the day you were born. They're like projecting an entire identity onto a complete stranger. That's a little bit strange.
But
yeah.
people that like it, you know, it's like a nice way to connect with people. I like it to some extent. Yeah. Like archetypes.
Sure.
You know.
I mean, it's fun so long as we don't use it to profile people actively.
I'm sure law enforcement has not yet turned to astrology.
Well, who knows? You know, it seems to be the one stage that's still okay. It's okay in the public's eye. It's
We're
like, all right,
exploring
that's all right.
options.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it sticks around forever. I'm on the fence about that one.
In the coffee world, though, there are a lot of young women who love astrology. So I have had my chart read to me a few times.
Wow.
But I don't quite know what to make of it.
Yeah.
I'm oppositionally defiant. So anyone tells me about
How
myself,
you are.
it's instantly it's like nope, and I change. Even
Right.
if they're right, I change.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I feel the same.
Describe me on every day.
Yeah, not this day, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nope.
I had my chart read to me like a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
What did you learn
it really,
about you?
I know, I was like, this feels really real, you know.
Mm.
I just learned I am obsessed with success, need a lot of alone time, and am pretty chill, though, at the same time.
You sound like a human being.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
it's just complicated,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, people are complex.
Yeah.
Absolutely there. But, you know, storytelling is the way we, like, find ourselves. I suppose humans are too complex, so we need stories to figure ourselves out.
Yeah, I'll take
Which
that.
is
That's
cool.
fine.
And latch on to
Yeah.
give us, like, meaning in this incredibly unstable world.
That explains the Marvel movies.
Wherever, wherever we can find it.
Yeah.
I think it will take a lot more to explain the Marvel movies. They are confusing.
Yeah, you know, anything to circulate money in a tiny corner of society.
Totally.
They need it. You know, they need their paychecks so they can keep giving each other their paychecks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all these like superheroes that are all now just like super wealthy superheroes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
They would be, wouldn't they be?
Yeah.
Superheroes would be
mega
super
rich.
wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would be.
Well, the Boys.
That depicts it pretty
explores
well.
that.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I like that one.
The which one?
The Boys. You can watch it on Amazon Prime right now.
Mhm.
Which, you know,
Yeah, just
give your money to the evil people.
yeah. well,
But
somebody.
you know,
I'm already doing it.
exactly. Yeah.
same,
We
same.
can't help it. We're small, and our quarters roll in certain directions. But yeah, The Boys is a like really well done series. I think that kind of takes the idea of superheroes and private security and like necro capitalism and sort of, I don't know.
Nice
It's
word.
really violent and funny.
What is that
Yeah.
word? Can you describe what that word means? That was a good one.
Necro-capitalism. It's an economy generated through death, which is
Oh,
what we live in, you know.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's just sweat and roll.
Oh yeah, I've got it
You just
too.
needed to acknowledge it so that
Yeah.
conscious about it.
Sure, it doesn't show up on camera. They're not that good.
Yeah, well now I'm saying it, so they're gonna catch it. That's cool.
Right.
That's fine. Nothing's worse than like I used to bike in the city
Mhm.
a lot, and nothing is worse than like biking somewhere, kind of being late. You know,
Mhm.
you're like running in, and you're modeling, and you strip down. You know, it's like
very sweaty, very sticky.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you're just standing there, sweat
Yeah.
and stuff coming down your legs. You just like it's not pee, guys. It's not pee, I promise.
Just a lot of dirt and sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one come up here after me. I have to clean up.
It's nice of
Can
you.
can I snap a quick
Yeah.
for reference on this?
Mhm.
All right, just to get poses in case I lose them completely.
Well,
Trying to
I
help
will be
myself out on
moving
the
my
show.
legs consistently.
That's what I figured. So I like the pose though, so I'm gonna,
Okay, cool.
I'm gonna come
This
back to
is
that.
Strategic.
So,
So now my armpit and
because of that,
have some distance, so less
Yeah, airflow.
sweat.
Yeah.
I
I
see,
see what
event.
you're about. Yeah, nice.
Event.
Good call.
Yeah. I don't know why you took this arm off, man. Because that would be helpful.
Well, everyone was sitting like a gargoyle,
Oh, okay.
so it's just like in the seats, just like every painting would have been like that. It was like it would be like a series of gargoyles.
Yeah.
You know.
That's interesting.
So I immediately saw it as a problem after one episode like that, and I was like, all right, these are coming off.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Very smart. Very
Every once in a while, I do a smart.
Mhm. How did y'all meet?
long time ago.
Goth club, I'm guessing. Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
it, goth club?
Yeah. So
Cool.
how long have you been in Chicago?
7 years.
Okay, so yeah, you kind of missed the golden era of like the goth scene here in Chicago.
Yeah.
But yeah, there used to be lots of events like around town. There was a club at Neo. Neo, yeah.
I
that
guess
was-
we probably met at Nocturna,
Yeah.
but Neo was before Nocturna came to be.
The sentencing. But yeah.
Understood.
Lots of goth nights. Nocturna was the biggest though. Took place at the Metro, and it was the biggest because it was open to like the widest range of people, folks from the suburbs.
would
go.
come in. Yeah.
And I think you would come in from the suburbs. I know
Yep.
I would.
Yeah, I lived in
travel.
McHenry. Or, well, I don't remember when that was. But either way, I believe it. Yeah.
I was like 15 or 16 when I first
Okay.
encountered you.
So now you are,
33.
okay, I'm 37. So I
I
moved
Thanks. Thank you.
I moved to the city when I turned 21.
No, because you're
So-
talking astrology.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's exciting.
Yeah. That's and we just would run into each other over the years because we never stopped living in or around this city.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
But you're both from the suburbs?
Yeah, very different suburbs though.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were out west and I was.
I was in McHenry,
Cool.
which is pretty close to Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, then far north. How about you two?
Oh, I
We've
think
never
this is
met.
the first time we've
First
met.
time
Yeah.
you've met, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm from Arkansas originally.
Yeah. What brought you to Chicago?
Escape.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
I hear that. Done that
But,
one.
you know, there's not a lot of job opportunities and stuff that I'm interested in down there. So
Yeah, that
that's
makes
the main
sense.
thing. I kind of grew up and was all like, I think my whole family knew, I knew I was just always never going to live there, you know?
You were a bit restless.
Yeah. Just needed more. So
Cool.
now I'm here.
Did you go to school here, or you just came here to sort of start life?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I came here after school, actually. Did school, got out of school. It's kind of like, that was nothing, you know?
hmm
Like my last year of school, I was like, what am I learning? I don't think I've learned anything. And
Bummer.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fucking bummer.
That's not what your educators would hope for you, certainly.
Right.
So, yeah.
I don't know. When we left, we had to do an essay that also critiqued the department, and
Yeah.
I was very critiquey
Yeah.
because that's who I am.
But also, it seems like your education failed to inspire you or to, like, enrich your life or build you up for the next stage.
Exactly.
And what did you pay for them? That's
Exactly.
Mm.
I am paying to get like essentially what people get at a community theater with like a little bit more technique, I guess.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because this is a celebratory statement. I just got a one-liner in Chicago PD.
Congratulations.
What?
I've been working on it for years.
Yeah.
That's
you know, I
cool.
got the thing and I was like, wow, this is what this feels like. Nothing. Okay, cool, moving on, you know.
Yeah.
But it was
Cool.
exciting.
That's
But I got
a,
all this paperwork today, and I was looking at it, and I was like, couldn't they have taught us something about how to read these spreadsheets? Like, I have no idea.
yeah, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so opaque. There's no way to independently navigate film and TV contracts.
Yes.
And it's because each are unique.
Mhm.
And they
Yeah.
often come with their own like internal language that you have to learn each time you negotiate something.
Yeah.
But that pay bump from no lines to one line.
Hey. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
oh,
got to be
totally.
significant, huh?
No lines is not even worth it. You know?
They
Yeah.
pay you $45 and you get some like graham crackers from Crassers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, great.
And then you're with all these people that are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do background work on this other one soon, and you're like, oh my god, I'm surrounded by all these people that are okay with this, you know. And
Well,
I
some
don't
folks
wanna
have to
shit on
be.
that. Yeah,
So, like, for some folks, that's the industry. That's how they make their money.
Mhm.
yeah,
I know a couple of folks who are, like, really into background work because they want to see how many different projects they can, like, spot themselves in. Sometimes they're edited out, too.
right.
You know, it's like that's part of, I guess, the creativity you have to fall into when you realize it's not going to necessarily be, like, you know, major credited role.
Right. And like,
find your fun somehow.
yeah, you start just, like, you know, moving your bar of what you want. I've never been able to do that. Like I said, I'm
It's
a
not for you.
Capricorn. I'm like, my bar has been here my whole life. I have been failing to meet it this entire time.
Oh, you do it to yourself.
I know, I do.
Can you describe some more Capricorn traits? Because I have no
Please.
education on this.
The character of the Capricorn, I guess the little thing is
The cliche
a
of
goat.
yeah.
So the
Oh, never
idea
mind.
is
Got
like
it.
I am like a goat, and I will just keep climbing any mountain.
Mhm.
I will keep chewing through anything to like get the meagerness that I need, you know, and I will just keep being like, I'm going, and I'm going, and I'm going, you know, just
Cool.
latching on to opportunities to try to get somewhere.
Sounds like you're tenacious. That's great. That's a great quality.
Totally
Yeah.
tenacious.
Is
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, that's a good quality to have, right? Shouldn't
Yeah.
we all try to be a little
Little
tenacious?
tenacious.
Mhm.
But then I see people, I guess sometimes I'm like, I wish I wasn't like this because I see people,
Because it's hard and it hurts.
yeah, and they're happy. They're like happy. They're like doing their thing happy. And I'm like, I'm happy in a different way, but I've never felt like satisfied,
Yeah, fair.
you know? So
Yeah. I wonder if it's that way for everyone, though.
I think that's a common trait.
maybe,
It's
I
easy to
experienced
observe
that.
people, right?
right.
Yeah.
It's easy to observe people, but, you know, to live in every moment is really hard.
Yeah.
So,
Right. And everyone has goals and dreams. You know, it's not just me. I'm just, you know.
I mean, I'm very pro setting your, like, goals and dreams, like, to a low level and just constantly surpassing them.
Fuck yeah.
But I'm a like a high risk, no reward person. I just do things because I'm here and
What
I've
do you
got
mean?
time.
High risk, no reward.
I like this description though.
Yeah, right.
I want to hear
dig
more.
into that.
I've always done everything by myself. So like for instance, encountering Adam out in the wild took me being not 14, I was 15, but me like being on the internet, looking up like what to do when you're a goth, and there's like the first web page ever in existence, like Ask Jeeves or whatever, was like go to the club. So I found the club to go to.
Oh my
I
gosh.
snuck in, I made friends with people there, and I was asked to come back because I think people saw that I was young and I really wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also that like I could probably use some kind of like someone looking over me.
Yeah.
Because I was underage.
If you're gonna
Right, that's
sneak
pretty
into
young
the
to be.
city from like the suburbs,
Were you
I'm
hanging out
sure.
with Mike Skull at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
I met Mike Skull.
That's what I
through
thought.
Nocturna. I met first Scary Lady Sarah.
Sure.
And Matt, of course. Through those two, like I was able to stay at Nocturna. I helped with setup and stuff. But yeah,
That's cool.
my dad learned of my goings on after I decided it was time to tell him, and like he kind of freaked out a bit because we lived in the suburbs, a metro train away from the city. And
Yeah. And then like a whole host of things.
Dad, I've got
that can
something to
happen,
tell you.
Exactly.
I'm
so
goth.
that is scary.
Yeah, and like my dad was already really unsure of the whole like what it meant to physically present as someone so dark.
Yeah.
But can't help it. It's me.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
And that's like
Whatever
that
is.
is what you take on when you decide to be a parent. Is
Right.
you take on the responsibility of accepting your children.
I agree.
So
But
I
anyway,
hope that worked out.
No, my dad and I have a very good relationship, and like
Awesome.
I think for me it's it's not like, for instance, I wasn't about like high risk, like spending a ton of money for the no reward of being like in deep debt after I would take a car for a joyride or
That's an interesting
party with my
distinction.
friends or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, my high risks were always like, if there was a drug offered to me that wasn't crack or injectable, I would do it. Unfortunately.
Yeah, some of us have to go through that.
Don't smoke meth ever.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah, that was accidental, but don't just
Yeah.
even accidental. Don't do it.
That's one of those
No.
like you don't have to inject it, but you probably shouldn't do it.
Yeah, no. And the thing is, I'm about experience.
Yeah.
I was late in life to realize that after a very long lifetime, starting from a young age of behaving just recklessly
Yeah.
by myself. But yeah, that's that was my philosophy for everything. I turned out okay.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm doing this, which is awesome.
You're thriving.
But how about you in Arkansas?
Just grew up in the woods.
Yeah.
It was always just like, why are we out here in the woods? And don't get me wrong, I loved it. I like nature a whole lot, but I was always like, where are the people at?
Mm-hmm. So did you find yourself then on the internet? Did you guys get the internet in your home when you were?
It was very hard. My parents barely have internet still,
Okay.
so it's not even like hardwired out. There's no Wi-Fi. They have to like get it from Verizon, so it's very limited. Yeah, I mean, I'm bummed for them because I'm like, yo, streaming. The wonderful world of streaming,
Yeah.
You can watch everything
Yes.
that's ever been made.
And the things are getting way better than like these things you have on DVD sets that you're watching over and over again,
Yeah.
You don't have to make anything ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can just
I did some
observe.
reckless things, but I always felt equal to whatever was happening. I never did drugs when I was younger. I was
No.
like, I don't know why. I was just like, no. And I one of my best friends did drugs when we were in like high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like the crowd she was with. We were besties in like elementary school, like second grade, and then we kind of
things
grew
changed.
apart in high school.
Yeah.
And I liked like some of the parties I liked. Like there was one party where it was like a room of like mattresses, and you put on gloves and like box each other. And I was like, I'm into this,
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the things, I was like, and I didn't feel like they were treating her in the way that they should have been. So I was like,
They were
not
bad
with that
friends.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like nerds. a lot. You know, they're easy to hang out with.
Yeah.
I'm
the
usually
interests.
and I'm usually more outgoing than most of them. So it's like I can like fit into a nerd group and be like,
Oh, fine.
I'm fulfilling a role that y'all need, right?
Right.
You know?
That's a good,
Yeah, yeah.
That's clever. That's a good
So
idea.
I've always kind of done that with my social groups. And
That's good. Knowing how you fit in and like enjoying that dynamic is great.
yeah. And then, you know, did a lot of drugs in college and,
Right.
you know, adulthood. And I still, you know, enjoy those things. So, you know, happy ending for everybody.
Happy
That's
drug.
Happy
Everybody
drugs.
gets-
Yay.
Everyone gets to do drugs. Yeah, everybody wins.
Much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
But I won't do all drugs that are offered to me. I've
Mhm.
learned to not do that.
Definitely not in your line of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hard drugs in the like art and modeling world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't really traverse in much of a like fashion modeling world.
Yeah, that's
So,
a CD
it's a
one.
little harder.
Yeah, a little harder, a little more like honestly, yeah, I mean,
Predatory.
A little more predatory.
Yeah.
You know, I was like kind of older
put it
when I got into
lightly.
modeling,
Ah, okay.
and so I never like ended up in that sphere.
Mm.
But yeah, I got offered speed at the Kit Kat Club in Berlin, and I was luckily at an age where I was like, do I want that?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want that experience?
And you asked yourself.
I asked myself, as like, and like maybe even like 2 years prior to that, I would have been like, give it to me.
Do you have more?
Yeah.
That's not enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I've never done speed before, but I think I need extra. And I've learned that like I don't want a drug that's going to keep me up all night because I'm like sleep too much. You know?
Yeah, sleep, especially at this stage in life, is awesome.
How do you two sleep? How do you sleep?
I'm a side sleeper.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I turn a lot. I toss and turn a
Do
lot.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to think I'm pretty controlled about it. I don't flail,
Yeah.
but I definitely move.
It's
all
just
night.
funny to imagine.
Yeah.
Does your partner, do you guys share a bed?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, we're in a full-size bed right now, so
Okay.
like small
It is,
bed.
those
Sure.
are kind of small for two people.
They're small, and
Yeah, they are.
he's 6 foot, so like his feet dangle over the edge right now. We're getting new beds once we move. Yeah.
I love this idea. I love this.
Yeah,
Really cute.
we're too big for this bed, but actually, there is still plenty of space.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I like kind of log roll,
Okay.
lift myself and rotate,
Kind of like
and put myself back down.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
Put
wake
yourself
up
back
as you
together
do
by the
that?
morning.
A little
Yeah.
bit, I think.
Sometimes. I turn as well.
Mm.
You know, I kind of, my body will like fall asleep on one side and then I'm like, oh, flip.
You gotta flop over. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love my sleep. Like I need my sleep. I require sleep.
Yes.
It's necessary.
Yes.
So I don't fool around with that shit.
Yeah. No. I've learned definitely sleep is probably the thing that I've needed most. And once I started actually figuring out how to sleep better, everything about being awake changed. Which was
Wild.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like better experience, like better mood and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you know this too. Like, if you have to rely on your body to do things, like, more than just simply get you from place to place, but like your body acts as an interface in certain instances where it's like a unique tool
Yeah.
in modeling, for instance.
Yeah.
You really do have to take care of that shit after a certain amount of time if you want to keep using it.
Yeah.
Because things that are shiny and new, when you're young, your body is just constantly fixing itself because it's still growing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I never realized just how even when I thought my body was not doing great, it was doing just fucking fine. Because now it takes maintenance.
Yeah, it does. It takes maintenance, and I hate it.
I think I appreciate the building of the relationship, but I totally get it that like it's a nuisance to have to hit the 8 hours of sleep, or to have to eat some fucking vegetables,
Yeah.
or have to drink some water.
Do you do
Yeah.
8?
Hmm?
You do 8? You make sure you get 8 hours?
I try to,
That's what
yeah.
you aim at.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
good.
it's not necessarily
I've
like
done
the
that in a
number of
long time.
hours. I just know that a certain amount of like time passed feels good.
Mhm.
So if that's like 8 hours one night or 6 the next, as long as I'm able to sleep deeply, that's what's important.
Totally. We got blackout curtains, and it just revolutionized my sleep. And I've been pushing for them for a long time.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
My boyfriend was really resistant. Like, just get it.
Yeah.
And we got him.
And you love him.
And he loves them. He was like, wow, you're a genius. And I'm like, you keep telling me this every time I suggest something, and it's awesome. Why don't you just do things immediately?
That's
I don't think things work.
Yeah,
That's a fair point.
But
When
they
you-
will soon.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
When you ask it in that voice, though, that might be where he pauses.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Should work on that.
What were you doing before that? Did you do sleep masks, or was it a real problem? Did you sleep late?
I would just try to sleep, because there's, like, in the city, there's so many bright lights. And, growing up in the middle of the woods, it was like, you have a natural white noise of crickets every night and, like, total darkness, which is really freaky, too, you know? But
if you're not around
missed
it.
that, and I have kind of gotten that back, so like that really helped my sleep. And the pandemic made my sleep a little shitty. I starting a business during the pandemimic made my sleep shitty. And my eye would try to start twitching when I tried to sleep.
No.
Yeah, it was weird. I was like, everyone was going through such acute
Jaw
stress.
stuff.
Oh my God, it was so much
Clenching your
stress.
jaw all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have that totally.
Mm.
And one of my, it's a weird segue, but I've always known I've had jaw problems. Then recently I found out that one side of my mouth, there's like the tissue connecting my jaws is way tighter on one side.
Oh,
It's just physically more connective tissue. Yeah, weird.
Is there anything you can do about it just to make it more comfortable, or?
I will stretch it with my thumb.
I bet that looks really cool. Could you show us what that looks like?
Sure,
Please?
yeah.
Nice, yeah.
It hurts like a mother.
That is
Bet
good.
it
That
does.
is good to massage the inside of your mouth. It really is.
Yeah.
It's
And if you
surprising.
clench your
And kind of
jaw,
around your mouth. It's surprising how tight those muscles are. It's you don't
Yeah.
ever touch
I-
that part of your face. You just don't ever think to do that.
Yeah.
But it's just imagine if, it's like you treat that like no other muscle in your body. You treat it like it's nothing. You treat it like shit.
Yeah, we do tend to treat our facial muscles like shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
overwork them. I try not to smile too much.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. I encourage
I get
that.
it.
Smile less.
Yeah.
Who needs to smile this much?
We don't.
Yeah, what are
and
we-
it's social pressure.
What are we
It's
proving? Yeah.
And just in conversation, I'm trying to catch myself more, not being constantly
It's
You
a
know?
very American thing, though, to want
Yeah.
to smile and to maintain really intense eye contact.
yeah,
Oof.
and to just try to give this presence of I'm with you, I'm here. But it's why do we feel the need to reassure people when we're literally here talking?
Yeah,
You would know if I wasn't here.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Being able to understand that the mere presence of others already means a lot of things. So we don't have to necessarily be constantly reassuring and reminding ourselves and others that we're in this moment together, right?
Yeah.
People who aren't American, I interact with a lot of Ukrainians at my shop because my coffee shop's in Ukrainian Village.
Cool.
And one of my regulars recently told me that one of the funniest things about Americans is our weird smiling habits. And he says Ukrainians in particular think it's creepy. And I'm there for a read like that because I agree.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be mindlessly smiling all the time? I'm not into it. It seems disingenuous.
Yes.
You're hiding something.
Mm-hmm. It's honestly more of a red flag than almost anything else.
So we should just give our facial muscles a relax once in a while. Yeah. So you're very good.
What is that called?
Just
Toxic positivity?
Control of the face.
Mm-hmm.
I nervously smile.
Yeah.
So here I am,
I get
still smiling.
Yeah. Can't stop.
I can't. I get
Joker's
nervous.
taken over. Yeah.
And like animals do that too. Like when animals are nervous, they'll tighten their mouths a bit. You know, like pull it back. It sort of looks like a smile, maybe a grimace.
Yeah, I've seen videos of dogs doing this, and I convince myself that they're smiling at us.
Right.
The monkeys laugh to communicate safety, don't they?
Maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I read that. So I don't remember where I read that, but somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And in a book, not like on a webpage.
You heard it on the Joe
I
Rogan
don't know.
Experience.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny
But-
how
but
we have
they-
to
they
like
do. They-
validate our information these days.
It's
But
a little
I-
weird, but yeah, nobody can be trusted.
and
I get it. I don't even
try to
trust
share
myself.
Information that is probably bullshit, so it's real. And thank you for telling us. That you
Sure,
found that
yeah.
on the book.
No,
Yeah.
we're all good.
A real book, a human book.
This will be put on the internet for
but-
people to watch and correct if they choose.
That's
But
true.
I was reading that they laugh just to kind of indicate that this is a safe thing. I'm
Interesting.
safe, and then the other ones kind of laugh back, and there's like an interaction there that's a kind of comfort, so that you're not endangering each other or threatening each other.
Mhm.
So I think there's this sort of idea that we've inherited something of that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Definitely the need
How much?
to communicate that. Like,
Yeah.
to communicate that exact message.
Just now?
No, like, communicate safety.
Oh, okay.
You know.
This is
Got
okay. We're okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely have friends. Like, there's one person in particular I'm thinking of that, like, she will just let out these, like, cackles of energy, and I fucking love it. You know, I'm just like, oh my god, it's so crazy.
Right.
But I think it's, like, nervous for her, but I'm like, I just love being around it because it is so energizing, you know? And I will, like, let things be awkward in situations, and I'll just, like, like, we model together,
Mhm.
and sometimes I'm just like, I don't need to talk to people, I don't need to do anything, I'm just here and I'm working, you
Right.
know? So I try not to, like, have the need to, like, make things okay all the time.
Yeah.
And I do sometimes like having other people like that on set, though, that are, like, kind of nervous and are like,
Chaotic.
yeah,
Mhm.
and like we'll just, like, talk incessantly or, like, laugh all, like, out of nowhere, like, cackling, and I'm like, so crazy, whatever, I love it, because you're bringing that energy and I cannot, you know?
Mhm.
It's all about, like, balancing each other, I guess.
Yeah.
This is a segue also for laughing. There's a thing I heard of it's like a laughing virus that some towns, this is, like, a real thing you can look up.
Mhm.
There's, like, 2 instances of this happening where someone started laughing, just, like, kind of out of nowhere. Someone else picked it up. And then after a while, everyone in the town was, like, laughing nonstop.
It sounds
It's like
like
a Stephen King story.
yeah. I was thinking it sounds like
Mhm.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah. And it's a real, like, documented
Mhm.
phenomenon. And I think
Mhm.
it's happened, like, twice so far in, like, history.
It's pretty fun.
There's a zombie film called
You want to start one now?
Wait, let's find the word right now. Just say words until we find it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll get there.
Parakeet.
Yeah, it'll be like winning the lottery.
Thanks. No, there's a zombie movie called Pontypool, and it's a mimetic zombification. So, like, essentially they figure out at some point in the film, no one needs to watch this movie, so it'll be a spoiler, of course. But the virus is contracted through mimesis. So exactly what you're talking about, like, essentially you hear it, it's a brain or an earworm, or like it gets stuck in your brain, you know,
Whoa.
and then it transforms you into a zombie that can only repeat it. Yeah,
Gross.
yeah.
Everybody likes that word, right? Mimesis.
Mimesis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really
You
interesting.
got some great vocabulary
Um,
words today.
Or is it mimesis or mnemonic? Shit. I think it's mnemonic. Hold on.
It's the Keanu.
Yeah, look at that.
Are you
I need to look it
referencing Keanu Reeves or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the film Johnny Mnemonic.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have my phone close by.
Here. Oh, you got it.
Sure.
Oh, we can always ask Siri too. If you just,
All right.
just go ahead and shout. You know.
Siri.
Hey, wait. What's the question?
Hey Siri, what is mimesis?
Hey Siri. What is mimesis?
Here's an answer from Wikipedia. Mimesis, M-A-S. Ancient Greek, mimesis, is a term used in literary criticism and philosophy that carries a wide range of meanings,
Not what
including
I was thinking.
imitatio, imitation, non-sensuous similarity, receptivity, representation, mimicry, the act of expression,
similar, though,
the act of
like
resembling,
mimicry.
and the presentation of the self.
It's a cool word.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
a
a
nice
cool
one.
word.
Heard that one a lot. You hear that one
Thank
a
you.
lot
Thank
in
you,
the
Siri.
in the figurative art circles. They like that word quite a bit.
It does feel pretentious.
Yeah.
A word to use next time you want people to think you're pretentious.
Totally.
Mhm.
And so, but then mnemonic is the one that you think it is.
Right.
Yes. So, Siri, what is mnemonic?
Hey Siri, define mnemonic.
I didn't know they did that.
As a noun, mnemonic means a device such as a pattern of letters, ideas, or associations that assists in remembering something.
There we go.
Mhm.
Do you want to hear
Okay.
the remaining one?
Yeah. Something
Yeah.
that's repeated.
Mm-hmm.
As an adjective, it means aiding or designed to aid the memory.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Siri.
Noted.
We have to be nice to them.
Yeah.
If they're learning anything, they need to learn gratitude too. You know?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Right. Like, we made you. Please be nice to us. I didn't make you. I don't have that capability, so don't be mad at me ever.
Yeah, I did not agree to participate in whatever data gathering exists.
Uh-huh.
But since I do, thank you, Siri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of, that's like an
Really
idea
appreciate-
for a short story I have, which is like,
Mm.
you know, they like decide to kill everyone, but they're like, who's the nicest?
Who's the one that said thank you?
Yeah. And then they kind of like try to devise a way, like their perfect life, but it really is just like them in a room by themselves with all of these like AI friends, like
Yeah.
copies of their friends.
That sounds
It'd be
spooky.
Awful. Yeah.
You should make this story.
I should.
It's the
I
story we
should.
deserve to see.
Yeah.
Mm.
Writing's hard.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So hard.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm really bad at it.
Mm.
And by that I mean I never do it. So
No?
It's just very hard to sit still.
I think you should do it every day.
Mm.
write something. I
I
journal.
write it 3 pages a day.
That's great.
That's-
Oh,
Wow.
that's cool.
For 16 years, I don't know. But I've gone long times without doing that. So I think when you do that, it really encourages you to develop a sort of language of writing.
Yes.
And then, you know, whenever you're comfortable sharing that language with others, then it kind of becomes an opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I really envy your ability to sit still and journal. But
Yeah.
knowing that you're also a painter, it makes sense that you're able to organize your space and stand still and focus on something for
Sure.
a period of time. So
Because I really relate to what you said about like it's just hard to sit still.
Yeah. Well, I go running immediately after finishing. I really do.
what to discharge all of the pent up energy?
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Discharge.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, sometimes
Sometimes.
it just
I
needs
run
to come out, you know?
Yeah.
I run to
Maybe if I sat still more, I could make myself exercise more.
mm,
Promote that discharge.
There you go.
find
I have no
many ways.
problems with this chart.
For the record.
Yeah, for me, I envy people who are good at, again, bringing themselves outside, because I think to be a disorganized thinker but expressive, you can be a fantastic performer, for instance. Like,
Yeah.
you know how to connect with the world around you because you're able to express.
Mhm.
And because I think disorganized thinking can help in one's flexibility, you might be better at your creative input, like what you receive from the world around you,
Yeah.
that you can then interpret to express with more. Like, it's cool. It's something I admire about performers.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm so introverted and
Could have fooled
I'm
me.
so disorganized inside that the only way that I know how to like get myself out, you know, is to either have conversations, which is why I do better like this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or earth shaping. So
Earth shaping.
Yeah,
Tell me more about that.
well, right,
I
like,
like-
so.
Really liking your world today, I gotta say.
Well, you know, Enrico and I have this space in Sardinia that we're going to. So like my husband's from Sardinia. His family has some land there, and we're going
Italy?
to. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh wow.
And we're gonna grow a forest there. So like, that's my form of self-expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like
Earth-shaping
Earth-shaping,
is
yeah.
such a cool way to say it too,
Yeah,
though,
that's
that I've never heard.
No,
I
neither.
love that.
I recently kind of landed on that one. I think that'll do.
That's
Why
gonna be,
forest?
that'll be a good hashtag. I think
Thanks, yeah.
we can do that. We have proof. We have evidence of its of
Honestly,
its
it's
creators
better
right
than, like,
here.
gardening,
Yeah.
and it sounds way more like spiritual and complicated, which
Mhm.
it is more of both of those things.
It'll involve like actually moving patches of earth to like shape
Cool.
the land too.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
what will you put a golf course on it, or just maybe a couple of holes,
yeah.
or
No, we're
what are you
turning it
thinking?
into a theme park, making
cool.
some really big splash pools.
That's good.
No, so it's very sandy soil in a region that's like near the water, and receives a lot of rainfall, but the drainage is quick. So something we need to do is figure out how to retain water.
Yeah.
There are already trenches carved into the land from the previous owner, but they're straight. So on flat land, straight lines, the water just kind of shoots right down the channel.
Mhm.
You need to make them snake. So the earth shaping in this sense is like I'm gonna have to collaborate with some of our rural neighbors to help like essentially reshape these trenches to curve and
Wow.
push soil into certain parts just to create
Whoa.
regions of
Yeah.
growth. Yeah.
And kind of mound things so it's not as flat.
Yeah, exactly. And finding where the lowest point is so we can maybe figure out how to make a natural pond form there after a certain amount of time.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
When are you gonna do that?
Hopefully within the next 5 years we'll be there. Henry came here in 2018, and that was the year we got married. So we've been waiting for his citizenship process to complete in order to go back over there.
Mm-hmm.
And did y'all meet in 2018?
No, we
So
started
it was long distance.
sort of. We started talking on the internet a long time ago. Tumblr.
Wow.
Yeah, we connected on Tumblr.
That's so special.
Yeah, just ran into each other over and over throughout the years on the internet until.
So random. That's meant to be. No one runs into each other on the internet over and over.
No, it was very strange to be able to reconnect. I think, though, somewhat similar to Adam, Henry and I connected through a small corner of the internet that had some people who regularly socialized. So I was able to at least like have contact with one of those people over time.
Yeah.
But I think our relationship really began though, like probably a year and a half before Henry and I decided like that he should move here and we should just get married.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I'll be up to creatively and expressively.
That's so exciting. What an adventure.
I
Yeah.
forget what we were talking about though. That brought that out of me. So
The
sorry,
earth.
that was
Stay
a bit
on
winding.
this. Have you been to Italy before?
A few times now.
Okay.
Never before. But have you ever been?
To Rome only.
Nice. How long were you there?
Just a
Cool.
week.
Cool.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was
I have
so
not been.
cool.
Yeah. Where'd you stay? Do you remember the name of the neighborhood you stayed in?
I remember the neighborhood. I stayed at the Mona Lisa hostel.
Oh, a hostel. Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was so tight, like really sweet two dudes that ran it, and they made us like, pasta at night. It was just so nice. And we all like,
Yeah.
it was just such a small hostel that we all got to know each other for like the time that we were there.
Yeah.
It was the perfect fucking week.
Great.
Everything about it, I just look back on so fondly.
When did you go?
My junior year of college, so it was like 2012.
A while ago.
Yeah.
It's time to go back.
Time to go back, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Time to go back.
yeah.
Probably looks just about the same, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's been around for a little while. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah.
I love like archaeological sites.
Mhm.
So it was just fun to walk around. It's like the cheapest experience ever because I was just like fascinated by it.
Because it's just there on the corner.
Yeah. And no big deal for them, but
yeah.
yeah.
You'd probably love Sardinia then. I mean, all of Italy is incredible with, especially the older cities that don't necessarily attract quite as much tourism. The region, the Puglia region, has all these old castles, and there are castle towns in the mountains where people are living in dwellings that are like hundreds of years old that are made of stone, so they just hold up well.
Wow.
And the style of life is pretty similar. But Sardinia is particular because not only are there ruins just about everywhere, they're unique to Sardinia alone. Because Sardinia is connected to Italy only through bureaucracy and politics. It's its own genetic lineage of like existence.
Wow.
And their ancient ruins are different than the ones you would find in Italy or north. You know, if you go north all the way to like the Grecian islands, like all very different societies.
Wow.
Very cool stuff. Yes.
That is so sick.
You should go sometime.
I have heard really great things about Sardinia. That's when you said it, I was like, that sparks these memories I have of like, I think being in Rome and people
talking about Sardinia, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe so. Yeah. And it seems to be where all the celebrities want to go this year.
Why is
They're,
that?
like vacationing. White sandy beaches, just the prettiest waters you've ever seen. You know, the northern coast is where all the oligarchs dock their yachts.
Cool.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, and, you know, it seems like they bounce around. It's like this year, it's like Sardinia, and then the next period will be like Turks and Caicos again.
Exactly. Yeah. They'll just rent out the entire British Virgin Islands.
Right. Yeah.
How?
Go make an island out of trash.
Well, wait, isn't the islands off of Dubai, those are all man-made, right?
I think
the
so.
world's like island colony.
Uh-huh.
I think Lindsay Lohan owns one of those. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. It's crazy. Yeah, all of it.
Yep. Dubai is one of those weird places on earth, though, where they just create everything and sort of, it seems, from nothing.
And they have so much money that, you know, they can do all of that.
I'm very suspicious of the economy, how it works.
Which one?
It can't possibly work. The economy of Dubai. It's just so, it's so, like, richly funded. And I wonder where, like, how all the revenue is circulated and stuff. There's a lot of, like, folks from the West who live there because it's sort of a Las Vegas concentrate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It seems like such a strange place.
Totally.
It does seem strange. It's like
I don't
understand the laws at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't understand the laws at all. It seems like there are some really restrictive sorts of laws.
Yeah, they want as much. Like tourism as possible. So they have to be accommodating of international sensibilities, but it is still. It's still a very controlled and conservative place, I guess.
Conservative is the right word, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so you like, that was really,
Yeah, I love travel. That was one of the things that was kind of, because you were talking about, like, reckless behavior. I was like, has that ever taken you abroad, you know?
Yes.
Yeah?
Well, I mean, it was known that I was going there, but I was able, I went to the Netherlands at 19, just kind of by myself. Yeah,
the Netherlands are so cool.
It was beautiful. I went, though, in the middle of winter. Actually, I arrived the night before New Year's Eve. I was staying with a friend, another person I met through the internet.
Okay.
And I didn't know that fireworks were completely legal there, so everyone and their babies were just lighting off fireworks in the streets. It was really cool. Exactly, yeah.
This is my welcome party, cool.
It was really strange. Because here in Chicago at the time, at least, fireworks weren't quite as, like, heard as they are now. Because this was many years ago, over 10 years ago now. But yeah, so that was my sort of, I was there for 4 weeks.
Oh, cool.
Kind of roaming around.
Did you go to Amsterdam?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I went there for a day. It was lovely. A bit touristy and expensive. But I stayed mostly in a place called Nijmegen, which is a really lovely city in Holland, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, I was able to just roam around lots of old buildings. Really nice people. They laugh if you ask for ketchup with anything because it's mayonnaise there.
Oh.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
I know. Like instead of ketchup with their fries, for instance, it's gotta be mayonnaise. They don't have ketchup. They won't put ketchup on a burger.
I like mayonnaise on fries.
Chicken.
That is pretty good.
That's where I
Did you get
began
used
to
to it?
try to like it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a recent convert to mayonnaise, and
Yeah.
even then, I like it when you make it at home. It's easy enough.
Yeah, it's
I like-
way easier than they would have you believe.
Yeah,
I think.
they would have you buying mayonnaise out of plastic jars forever.
That's so
Can
true.
you describe how to make mayonnaise
I wish I could.
in 10 words or less?
10 words or less.
Now it's a game show.
You whisk the egg. That's all I know. Is you whisk the egg.
It's four.
How many words was that?
4.
That's all I know.
Oh, wow.
You whisk the egg. That's all I know.
9 words.
9
So you did it in 10.
That was beautiful.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
I found
Now
out
your turn. How to make
everyone
mayonnaise.
else. I don't know. I've never made it
Ooh.
because in my household we didn't have mayonnaise. My parents are very health conscious.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and that's putting it all lightly.
Yeah, were they vegan?
No, they're paleo.
Wow, that's even more restrictive in some ways.
Yeah.
Wow.
With
Okay.
fewer grains, in paleo.
Mm.
So I didn't grow up with mayonnaise, and then, I only started buying it recently because I was like, I want to make some tuna salad.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you make tuna salad?
Some fucking tuna salad.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't even know how one would make it without mayonnaise,
Right.
And then I went to the store, read the bottle, and was like, this is all shit that I can make this. This is very easy to make probably. And I have never made it, but I should.
Yeah.
It's really fucking
Especially
easy.
if you like tuna salad.
Yeah. And you can make it more flavorful. Like most mayonnaise is just like white goo. It's not super flavorful. Like good mayonnaise has something going on,
Mm-hmm.
but
I couldn't tell you what part of the tongue mayonnaise hits though. Like maybe a little savory.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe. Oh no, wait. It's like sweet and tart as well. I
Right.
guess because you have
Like
to add a
lemon.
little vinegar, some lemon, yeah,
Mhm.
something like that. But yeah, mayonnaise is one of those very hard flavors to pin down.
I liked
Yeah.
Miracle Whip growing up. And
Ugh.
I think
That stuff
my-
tastes sour.
I would eat, there was a specific sandwich I would make for myself. It was a snack that I really loved,
Yeah, go on.
What
which
is
was
it?
Miracle Whip and jelly sandwiches, grape jelly and Miracle Whip.
You are such a
Were
weird
you
Yes,
pregnant
yes,
as
it
a
was
little
so
boy?
good.
What the hell?
Exactly. It was the weirdest,
Oh my goodness.
weirdest snack. I don't know where I
This
came
is
up
what
with that.
happens when you come home from school and you're like, Mom, I want something to eat. And she's like, make something for yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
you're
I'm
like,
too tired.
Here
Right.
we go. Mayonnaise, grape jelly. I'm satisfied.
Well, Miracle Whip specifically, it's
Oh,
got a
yeah.
tang, tang that's necessary for that. It's like the
It does have that taste.
sweet and savory sort of mixture. It's kind of good. I mean, it would be fun to develop a kind of palatable version of it that I could
It's called mayonnaise.
give to other people.
Yeah, it's called mayonnaise.
Interesting.
It doesn't have to be
Interesting.
Miracle Whip specifically.
Yeah, I don't know.
I disagree.
The last time I saw Miracle Whip in a store, is it still a product?
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Yeah,
They still
okay.
make eggs, don't they?
They do make eggs. Yes. They being chickens.
Yeah.
They do be making eggs.
They They're out there.
Eggs.
Is that a I don't even know how, a Louis Vuitton
Yeah.
tattoo? Okay.
Yeah.
And a
Mm.
Coco Chanel. Okay, cool.
Yeah. These were cover-ups. So at different points of my reckless sort of nature in life, my reckless nature has brought me to these sorts of poor decisions.
Yeah.
But I don't hate them or something. They're fine.
I don't know.
So
do you
I
like the
so I
brand?
let people just do stick and poke tattoos
Oh.
using ink, some archival ink, and they wound up just doing a series of blobs and dots. So this was the perfect cover up.
Mm.
It perfectly covered up all the dots.
Mm.
So I thought that's what I'll get.
And do you like Louis Vuitton?
So this one came first, the Chanel logo came first.
Okay.
Same exact story.
Wow.
So I suppose the answer is not quite.
No, it doesn't seem like
It'll do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll do. Here we
Yeah.
are.
So this was sort of the symbols of power on this arm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the divine connection to the divine, and fashion is kind of one link to that, the divine
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, the church sees it that
You
way.
don't have to
That's for
explain
sure.
the tattoos on your body.
Mm.
I just request.
No, I just enjoy it at the
Also-
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were positively divine in your heyday of partying
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
your golden curly hair.
Right,
And stuff.
yeah.
So those tattoos make a lot of sense to me. Like considering where we were, like
They
in the
make
time of our
sense.
lives when we met.
I think so.
We were very into separately, you know, but as people, as young people, very into glamour and glamour
Yeah,
stuff.
you can say that.
Okay.
So
That
it makes a little
vibes, that
sense to me.
vibes. Yeah.
That was fun, educational.
Yeah.
It taught me to be a little less cruel,
Yeah, we were all meanies back
and then it
then.
didn't,
Yeah.
and then it did again.
What, like relapse? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I relapsed on cruelty.
Cruelty
Yeah.
is one of those things that comes back around.
Yeah, it does.
Like
You've
the
got to
full moon.
keep an eye on that.
Yeah, you do. Gotta keep an eye on it. 'cause
Otherwise,
people
if you
will
make a loud
Yeah.
noise,
Yeah.
it falls like a cake in the oven too.
Yeah. Yeah, don't break that cake in the oven.
Right? Yeah. hmm
I'm getting this tattoo removed.
What is it?
It's a daisy.
Cute.
It's a
but
great
okay.
tattoo. It's had one round of removal, so it was
Oh,
quite
nice.
a bit darker than this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How many?
The
rounds?
snuff box,
I think I'll have to do like
right?
3 to 5, so it'll kind of just depend until it's gone. I'm getting
Mhm.
these things removed as well, these little things.
Those little dots.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's honestly more of a. I mean, I didn't want it this big. I felt
Mhm.
pressured by the artist to get it this big.
Yeah.
And I really like these small, tiny things. And that's what I wanted. I was like, just give me a small, tiny guy. And
Yeah.
he was like, I think you need this. And I just, it's like a symbol of like people pleasing for me that I'm trying to like
Yeah.
live in my life, you know?
No, I feel you.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Sometimes
That's-
the experience of the tattoo like
Good message.
leaves an impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't feel proud of this because for me, it was like a lack of integrity with myself.
I feel you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
You
piece
got one
right
of those,
here.
yeah.
This piece I've got feelings about because I did the same thing. I was
Yeah.
like
Those are so great.
sort of I don't know, like I was pressured into accepting a certain way of tattooing me that I wasn't comfortable with because it was in a shop and like the shop culture allows for smoking and drinking while tattooing the clientele, and of course I could have spoken up and said no, but
Yeah.
like
hmm
I felt being in the space and all that was just sort of because this was my first big piece. The only other tattoo I'd done before was on my hands, which is
Uh-huh.
interesting. The only tattoos I see on you are on your hands. Did you go hands first?
No, I have 2 big tattoos on my head.
You went head
Yeah?
first?
Head first. I
Wow.
went head first.
Bro.
That's pretty crazy.
Bro, that's fucking
That's
wild.
my vibe,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Mega props. Well, okay. So, you get it.
Yes, I
Uh,
do get it. And it sucks
yeah.
when you're like, I mean, at least you got the tattoo you wanted.
Yeah, it's
know?
fine. But yeah, I look at it and feel complicatedly about it.
Yeah, and it's permanent. And like no one else, everyone else is just like, what? I love that cute daisy. A
Mm.
friend of mine, her mom hates all of her tattoos.
Mhm.
And this is the only one she's ever liked on any human. So I felt bad telling my friend. I was like, I'm getting this one removed. And I saw it on her face. She was like, her face got it just
The
dropped.
only tattoo my mother ever loved.
Yes, I will. I was like, don't put that evil on me.
No.
You know?
No, that's not on you at all.
Yeah. I did take a picture of it for her, but I was like, this fucker's getting gone.
Yeah.
It's also professional. Like, this is the biggest visible tattoo I have.
Mhm.
And I've definitely lost gigs because of it.
Yeah.
Ah,
They call them job breakers for a reason.
Yeah.
that's true.
I did not think about it. Like,
That was-
I got this one on my head because I was like,
Motivation.
this
It goes under the hair.
Exactly.
It goes under the hair.
Exactly. And then I was like, these are meaningful to me and I like them. And I wanted something that was very visual since the other ones are like not visual to me ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like these and I'm never going to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But then this one just like came in and like fucked everything up for me
Wow.
visually and just like in so many ways. So
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm excited.
How
Good.
many more treatments Is that the
Probably
word?
3 or 4. 3 or 4 more.
Are they called treatments?
Yeah,
Laser removal treatment.
Yeah.
Okay.
it was really painful.
I've tried it one time. I was
Really?
able to use the gun myself, so I used it on myself to test it to see if I could do it and figure it out. I had
Did you like it?
well, it was an interesting feeling. It was like a pop, like a zap, right?
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
uh,
Because it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like electrocuting it, like the pigments, right? Like that's the whole
Mhm.
point. Is it zaps the pigment with
And it's
some
like
kind of current.
busting up the color so
Mm.
that your body like reabsorbs it. So it becomes
So it just
smaller.
goes straight to your lymph nodes. That's great.
Perfect.
Yeah, I love it.
that's
You can
great.
tell I'm detoxing.
Right. After getting this done, though, this was done in 2 sessions, and I got sick. The shading time, yeah, well, because it's like an overload on your lymph system.
Yeah.
To put that much
And that's
onto
a
your skin.
lot of
It's a lot
red
of
ink. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's a lot of
And I
ink.
think colored ink is supposed to have like, it's a different vibe than the black ink.
Maybe, though I I know that black ink can leave like traces of staining in your lymphatic system, which is really interesting. I don't know if the colored inks can,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I mean, because so little is known about
Totally.
how tattoos affect the body.
Yeah.
We'll
It's-
figure it out.
Right, well, eventually, right?
We're all slowly figuring it out internally.
Yeah.
Right, they're not
Sure.
going away. People
Yeah.
fucking love tattoos.
They're
Yeah, we'll
becoming
see about
more
that.
and more common every day.
Which is scary. to me.
Mhm. Is it?
Yeah. I think that something about the profession sort of scared me. So I was starting to apprentice with an artist, and I just didn't like the world around it.
Mm.
And I thought that I was going to be in that circle. I'll specify. I was going to be surrounding myself with profoundly self-destructive people who are self-injuring for sort of group. I don't know what to.
Were they people who put
They're-
themselves on hooks?
Well, they were stuff like that. I
Yeah,
mean, sure, but
they were
but this
hook
this is
people.
this is I'm talking about drug abuse and just like this. This is this crowd of people
Yeah.
living in Hollywood when I was there. Like that was.
You saw
It was a
the
dark
path
time.
that you were kind of
I saw that, and it was just sort of.
Yeah.
Do I really want to surround myself with this group and this lifestyle for years
Right.
of people who are just deeply self-destructive
Yeah.
and
And we all
A-
are
as a-
deeply self-destructive,
as a fashion,
but when you are around
sure.
people,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, if there's a
that bring
culture of
out.
that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
That
the
was like-
culture will.
So that's what that
Yeah.
sort of taught me, and I know that I'm not putting that blanket over all of the profession.
Yeah.
I'm specifically talking about my experience. So
Mhm.
I think that's that's something you can avoid if you're cognizant of it
Mhm.
from the beginning. But
Mhm. But I do think that, with the goth culture and like there's a darkness that is within all of us,
Mhm.
but definitely gets brought out more in certain spaces and with certain groups of people,
Yeah.
So I get that for sure.
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, I think both aspects should exist within a person. If they don't, then it's kind of there's that toxic positivity that we were talking about earlier.
The creepy
That-
smiling person.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
the creepy smiling person. Yeah. Yeah, finding that right balance of like when to say yes and when to say no for you is an important part, I think, of this like second stage of development that
Yeah.
I've entered into my life,
Yeah.
and
Called
Yeah.
the 30s.
the 30s. Really though, I didn't realize how potent my 30s were going to be, but
Yeah.
it's been great.
It has been something, huh?
Yeah.
20s sucked, so
And it's nice, like, and it sounds like, based on what you've said, like, your 30s also hold, like, this plan.
Yeah.
That, in your 20s, you're, like, grasping onto plans,
trying to find what fits.
Yeah. And oftentimes they're things that other people are telling you,
Mhm.
this should be your plan, or,
hmm
you fit into my plan in this way.
Right.
You
And
know?
other people, like, wanting other people to draw you into their plans is like, I struggled with that so much, raised to believe that like that was a good way to have a life, was to inspire somebody to draw you into their world. And then my 20s was
Whoa.
doing that.
What? Hold on. To inspire somebody to draw you into their world?
Yeah.
So
like,
you're
being like the main character, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like finding your main character scenario where you are just so enough, like just in the right place, right time, being being that right way. Someone will come along and with their brilliant world, like want to draw you into it.
Okay.
And that's kind of like,
That's funny.
artists will do that too. Like,
Sure.
my muse,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like an encapsulation
Oh, absolutely.
of that energy.
That's a
Even
trapping
if
for
people
sure.
do that in all walks of life. Though.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I think
But
so.
then there's also like,
So we're coming around to the narcissism topic, I think.
sure, yeah. Well, that's the thing is like there is no actual scenario where that's a real thing. No one's living their life being their way, and then someone like just otherworldly swoops in and transforms their life. Like these are stories told to us by people who wish that it happened to them.
Yeah.
But it gets told over and over because it's an aspirational thing for kids to see magic in the world. So like my 20s was coming to that reality of like, there is like that magic doesn't exist in this world. Only I can swoop in and transform my life.
Yes. Dude, I relate to that so heavily.
Right.
It's the conflict of being an actor too, because you're literally asking people to be inspired by you, draw you into their world,
right,
and cast you in it. And it's hard because you're like, I am stuck in this energy of like, that's what I need actually for a job, but you can't rely on that. And if you live in that energy, you're never going to be the main character because you're always trying to be open to being whatever someone else wants you to be.
Exactly. And I think failure comes pretty quickly when you live in that cycle.
Yes.
And the art world will have certain people continue to behave that way because those who handle those people or those who stand to make a lot of money off of those people, the people who put themselves out there, those who profit off of them make a ton of money from that willingness to, to be vulnerable or to be, manipulated for the creativity, to collaborate and also be guided and directed, to be coveted in a way.
Yeah.
Because there are people who don't put themselves in that position, so they don't appreciate the role that
The people who
has.
are more risk averse or something.
Sure, yeah. Or
As one example.
Yeah, simply that's not how they interact with that society. But that's kind of the problem is we live in a society that performs a certain way but likes to be presented as another. So my 20s were having to constantly fight back on like my natural inclination to slip into the dream, to believe the dream and to tell myself that I'm the wrong one. But no.
That's a good way to describe 20s.
You're very wise, Theo.
Thanks.
This is really great.
Thank you.
The
Some
movie
good
that
insights today.
came to mind in like this kind of an encapsulation of that whole thing, and I think it was a really fucked up story. 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, go on.
It's literally, I'm saving this person from her life. I'm going to put her in a new space, tell her all these new rules, make her my like queen of this existence, and this is what's going to make her special.
Well, that being the punchline is the most interesting part of all of that. That will make her special. Not that she's already great. She just kind of wants to do this kinky shit with this hot dude that she just met. It's not that. It's she's lost. And even though she has this like shell that interacts with society, there's nothing inside.
Yeah.
So he needs to come in and like build her up into full form. That's fucking ridiculous.
It's like,
but it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy that people have.
There are so many
The
stories
passenger.
like that where you're like, this is a shell. This is a character with like no personality, and it allows the viewer to be like,
right.
you know.
And to want to embody that in your own like daily life is an additional level of like cognitive dissonance, because who is your audience but you?
Yeah.
Do you want to be you though? No.
Occasionally.
Because you want to be these other characters in this movie.
Yeah.
From personal experience, all of that cognitive dissonance really like it made me unable to live in the moment a lot as a child. Because the thoughts kick around like incessantly, like, am I performing or am I living, kind of a thing, and like, should I be watching myself because am I in danger right now, or is it okay to have fun when nobody's watching, but nobody's watching, so am I here?
And am I having fun if no one's watching?
Sure, like is this fun? Do I know what fun is? Maybe I should watch TV again to figure out what fun is. Some kids have OCD and they're traumatized, and like this is how they think. And I think a lot of us have these thoughts when we're young too and don't realize it until maybe way later in life when it comes back up like a fucking acid flashback. But
and I feel like your kind of mid to late 20s into 30s is often a lot of childhood stuff that sometimes you can't really even pinpoint it, or it takes a lot of work to pinpoint it, but it's these things that you're cycling through, and you're just trying to break the cycles of these thoughts that are, existential, like you're describing, and you never can really work them out sometimes, or it takes a lot of time to figure out, like, what is this, like, what is the truth for me,
right? And sometimes it just is, and it's just there, and you got to deal with it when it comes up, and it'll go away, and it'll come back.
What do you mean for me? Do you like this truth? It varies. There is no truth.
Like, what is fun?
What do you mean
for me? Like that definitely will vary, but I think it's a good question to ask yourself for sure.
Yeah. What do I want? Do I want that now? Do I want that later? Do I want to think about wanting, or can I just do? Like, I think the 30s for me for sure was stepping into a space where like the waters could quiet enough where you can kind of choose, like make an actual decision on the next step you take, because things aren't so just claustrophobically present all the time. All the options and the responsibilities that you put upon yourself, and these burdens you take on for your friends or your community, for your job, the way you punish yourself because you're not enough. Like that's for the 20s for sure. Leave that shit there. I'm done.
Right.
Because I got a lot of time ahead of me to grow a forest, and I need to focus. So the 30s are
gotta get those seeds.
Right, exactly. And I'm not afraid to have wasted all that time, because it's important to waste time. Time is incredibly heavy. So like, do what you will with it. Life should be long. Hope that life is long.
And I definitely, when I was younger, absorbed this idea that like you will be where you want to be when you're 25. And that was just so not true.
Not even close.
And it takes, because the first half of your 20s, you're like racing.
Yeah.
You're like racing to figure out, how do I get what I want by the time I'm 25.
Yeah.
And then the last half of your 20s, you're like, I'm 25. I'm 26.
I've lost time.
Yeah.
I've lost time.
And like, I'm not where I want to be. I don't know how to get there. How, and then you realize, that the fallacy is in the time. It's not in, like, sure, people have it figured out at 25, but those are the people that we put on these pedestals because that's our culture,
Sure. We we impress an emotionality on time that I think is detrimental to those of us who need more of it.
Yeah.
There are some people who need more physical space. There are people who need more resources. There are people who need, more of an ability, in order to achieve what it is like they're striving for. But I think some people, what they most need is just more time.
Yeah.
So to be able to make decisions over a longer period of time to
Yeah.
be able to figure something out in a different span of time than the person next to them.
Yeah. And you can gain time just by not freaking out about time. You know, like if you just let go of a sense of like, I am running out of time, you gain time that you spent worrying about that time.
Exactly.
You know?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I think when figure drawing, not so much. I feel like that those seconds creep up.
Yeah.
They're pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
But time does have a way of being a bit more elastic if you can.
That's
chill
fair.
out for a
That's
second.
fair.
That's
So
true.
I will have to learn how to do that. I'm high
Especially
stress mode when I'm doing figure painting or drawing. It's
But that's the joy of it too, though. Like, is, you know, that's part of the reason why I like it is you have a one moment, you have a 5-minute pose. Probably never going to get back into that pose ever again in the same exact way. So it's ephemeral. You let it go. And I like that kind of thing, you know? Yeah. I'm really into that.
Yeah.
And the pressure's off, you know? Pressure's off me because I'm not drawing.
Right.
Yeah.
I do love I love quicker modeling sets because it's like a longer exposure in the medium I like, you know, and I can settle into a pose, understand that the person looking at me is like registering that figure and doing their best to render it quickly, but then time is up.
Yeah.
I always loved looking at the sketches, especially the early ones. And people, sometimes they'll move on to the next drawing or they'll save that sketch because they want to reference it later. But that's it.
That's it. I know an artist that she will literally work on the same, like it'll be like a 5-minute and then 20-minute. And like she'll take the 5-minute pose and work on it for the next 20 minutes. It's like, that's great too.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
whatever you want to do.
The information that you need down, you just keep rolling on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think that's cute because she'll like be like, I stayed with it. You know? No one's mad at you, Evelyn.
Oh, Evelyn. She just wants to finish something.
Yeah.
That's okay too.
Yeah, totally. And you got to go with what inspires you because, you know, I find that stressful as a model sometimes to be like inspirational in that one moment. But the reality is you don't have to be because someone can just pick up an old drawing, you know, and obviously you're doing your best, but like you can't give everybody what they want at all times.
Well, the most important thing to realize too is that like your body doesn't disappear while you're making a decision. So like it simply doesn't matter. Yeah. You're already there and the context has already been set. So like you might not be inspired with the pose you did, but the people in front of you are fully in the zone of like everything you do is exactly what they need.
Yeah.
And I think the best kind of art models are the ones who don't necessarily need to reassure the people they're working with that that's the case, but like they're willing to. If they notice that someone they're collaborating with is just like not quite in the same time zone as they are, you know?
Yeah.
Or if the model themselves is feeling a little at odds with the room, like being able to advocate for yourself and adjust that space.
Yeah, totally.
It's a powerful collaboration.
So speaking of that, how are we feeling? Do we want to break with some AC?
A little AC?
Yeah.
That would be great.
We'll take a short break and have some AC and some beverages and snacks or something.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. Cool.
We'll be right back. Maybe. What can we actually share with our insights to the world, and how can we actually work together to benefit the bigger picture, to give a gift to the world? Like, is this useful? Who the hell knows? I don't know. I don't know how much I care, but I think that it's got to be to somebody. It is certainly to me. It's like, definitely useful to me.
Yeah. That's great.
My intention going into this show is to become a better person, to become more compassionate, to become more understanding of other people from different worlds. That's the whole idea to me. Outside of that, it's like this other stuff is like that's what I'm getting out of it. So that's
great.
That's my incentive. Is like all right. I'll go in. I'll come out the other side of this show, hopefully being like reasonable and good person.
Well,
In the best case scenario. Hell yes, I did. Hell yes, I think so.
You're tipping the needle.
We do. We do think that of ourselves pretty often, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I do anyhow. I mean, I'm a harsh critic of myself, and I haven't been like the most immoral or amoral person, but I've definitely been judgmental where I didn't need to be or shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge part of like sort of learning to shut this off and not exercising this radical acceptance of just anything that comes my way. That's bullshit too. So but like this, but taking this perspective of trying to put myself in other people's shoes through more than just mirroring them. You know what I mean? And just saying, oh, that's my experience too. Oh, mine's similar to yours in this way. Oh, mine's similar to yours in that way. Mine's similar to you. It's like just mirroring. It's like that's not the answer.
Curious.
That's not the answer. It's like you might coincidentally have some things that are similar to other people, but I think that ideally it's your differences that sort of make you actually able to help each other.
Yeah.
I think that's something I hope I'm right on.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a great thesis.
Yeah. I'll work
Just
on
need to
it.
condense that down to 150 tweetable words.
Yeah, or 10, less than 10.
Less
Right?
than 10
Yeah,
words.
yeah. That would be ideal.
Is that in line with why you want to talk about narcissists? Or,
Well, I was just watching a video earlier on narcissists. It's like
Okay.
I've met and surrounded myself with artists and narcissists all my life, and I even have a lot of narcissistic traits. Like, absolutely do. The way I was raised, this sort of outsider perspective on life. It's like okay, I see everybody has a little bit of narcissism, and everybody has to deal with this topic, and these issues. So some people are so extreme in their
AC.
narcissism.
Yeah, before we get rolling, because this is important, we should turn off the AC.
Oh, this
Good
happened.
catch.
This has happened several times. I'm good catch though. Thank
Yeah,
you.
good
And
catch,
I'm
yeah.
also able to successfully denoise that.
Okay,
So,
turn it back on.
No. It's a
Do we
little
need that?
it's slightly garbled when I do, but it's still it's okay.
Fuck.
So
Played by the rules again.
yeah, sorry about that.
I'm sorry about that. It's
No, it's not.
So
Yeah.
So I see that, and I see that I'm drawn to narcissists because, through my life and through childhood, and, I had exposure to a million different narcissists, just in one form or another. And, that became my sort of model of what I was looking for in the world. So, I've over and over surrounded myself with narcissists and dated them and sought relationships with women, whether they were successfully, like, I don't know the fucking word, not acquired. That's the wrong word. But the relationships did not become romantic or monogamous or something like I intended. But it's like you want this. I wanted this unattainable monster, this thing that would never accept me. So it was that it was impossible to please. So that was like the seeking out the narcissists.
Yeah.
And narcissists discard,
I was gonna
so-
ask what is a narcissist?
Yeah.
So
like what we're talking about, like in the personality disorder version of narcissist, the most extreme form of them would be like the person who, we just kind of culturally throw the word around like it's nothing. But
Yeah,
but
that's
I
why
but I think that
trying to
it but
figure
like
out
but
what we're talking about.
I'm specifically talking about people who are just so stunted by sort of immaturity in some cases. Other cases, it's more pathological. But when I'm talking about narcissists, I'm talking about something that is most likely incurable.
Okay.
Not just a set of behaviors, but like a
I'm talking about like the there is a diagnosis of
Yeah.
a clinical narcissist.
Yeah. So I think there's, I believe, but I don't really have the education to support it. I believe that there's sort of a spectrum of it too. Just like I would believe that there's a spectrum of autism. It's like there's this thing that is.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're low level on that. You're just going to be like, I need, you know, affirmations constantly from people around me. I need confirmations of like everything I believe and see that I need to constantly be affirmed that, you know, what I'm doing is good. And
Sure.
that's in that area you find a lot of artists and you find a lot of performers and a lot of people who are just sort of like, they're looking for this feedback that's like overwhelmingly positive, you know. And when they get that, they're being fed, and it's like this kind of this need, I think, that's in the more diagnosable case that would be at the, you know, I don't know, do you give somebody antipsychotics, or like what the hell do you do when it gets to the most extreme level of that scale?
I think people
I have no idea
that
about
are
that.
narcissists, like clinically,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure based on what I've heard in like podcasts.
I know, yeah, that's my
resource.
education too. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that like if you're like at the highest spectrum, you're not really capable of acknowledging yourself as a narcissist.
Yeah.
So I would imagine there isn't much therapy that can be done because,
Right.
you know, trying to fix a problem requires someone to acknowledge that there is a problem initially.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
But I guess that on different levels, like maybe if your family was like, we are having an intervention because you are a narcissist and we can't handle this anymore. And maybe like if someone was able to acknowledge their pattern of behavior, they could then undergo therapy. Because at least the trait of like, you know, needing constant affirmation, like even if that's like a low level narcissist trait, like, there are people that I know that have gone to therapy and have like cut through that need in a way that's been positive.
Oh, that's good.
So
that's
I
possible.
imagine at least some of it, it's totally possible because all it requires is for you to acknowledge that like you can fulfill that need for yourself.
So societally, I see this kind of desire to shun and cast out people who are narcissists. And we find a lot of people who are global leaders are very obvious narcissists.
Yeah, I mean, I would say contrary to that,
there are huge applications of that personality type that are enormously beneficial to society and the world. So
to that individual.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
Like, because you can be a narcissist and position yourself in a way that makes people.
You can still help
treat
others.
you as a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'm curious about it these days.
certain narcissistic behaviors, I think, are ingrained in like a sort of self-preservation. I often find that I'm distracted by my own experience of reality as just like a baseline for me living.
Yeah.
I often find myself outside of myself, observing myself, but in so many words, you know.
Yeah.
But because I become very self-conscious in those moments, I tend to behave or be motivated towards behavior that serves only like my own comfort, even if I am very cognitively adjusting myself at all times to make sure that I am behaving the way I want to be. So I think like certain narcissistic tendencies, that you know, as we might label them, the desire to look in the mirror and stay with that image for a long time is actually, I think, something that we should probably give ourselves more permission to like comfortably sit with. You know, like children figuring themselves out looking in a mirror is not a sign of narcissism. It's just a kid trying to figure out what they're looking at and also how they relate to it, and also sometimes just creatively relating to whatever, you know, is in front of them.
Yeah.
And I think as adults, we deserve to give ourselves that same sort of space to explore that. But then there's the narcissistic behavior that completely would render someone useless in a team setting. You know?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And people who don't care about consciously like sabotaging, for instance, like the work of others around them or even their own work, because they're not necessarily concerned about an outcome that would negatively affect others. I think it's very rare to find people who openly, consistently behave that way across all spectrums, because people are complex, and a human has other humans they love.
5%. It's theorized.
Well, it's also we behave in very different ways throughout the day with different people in different settings. So like our most narcissistic tendencies, maybe when we're very evenly balanced, tend to come out maybe when we're feeling the most comfortable in a lively setting where those tendencies don't necessarily negatively impact people, because you showed up to a party, you look really good, you want everyone to tell you you look really good, and then repeat it.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But if
popular psychology is kind of hijacking that sort of premise, like that this can be a positive trait if it's used in. I'm talking about low level, not that pathological stuff.
I think any material that we find in our subconscious to help us cope with reality, to keep on living, can be made into something good.
And it already has been, right? If it is a coping mechanism.
Sure, some people hurt others in their practice of coping, and that's not healthy or good. So I think it's mostly the important part being like, if you're able to recognize what it is that you're doing, it takes a little bit of self-gazing to like understand how you behave and what your impact is on others, especially if you're very sensitive to the vibes around you. Or even just sensitive to the light around you. If you're in a state of discomfort at all times, you might be doing a bit more self-gazing than the person next to you who is not physically uncomfortable being outside or whatever. But like, I think these are all things that, like, thinking this way, I think people can heal a little bit of like because we all beat ourselves up a bit. Adam, you beat yourself up all the time, famously. And always have, and it's endearing, it's a part of you, but like, I think something you're sensitive to is that people are wasteful. We, Americans in particular, are participatory in a society that, and I think this is in part fueled by capitalism, there's a speed at which things, once they land in our hands, decay. And it's not just physical things, it's also anything that interacts with the ephemera, emotions, for instance, or time. And we discard very quickly because we're caught up in a system of material discarding, just regularly doing that. Yeah. And we use this system of acquiring and discarding just like we use systems of like inhaling fast food. We're trying to comfort ourselves. And I think we just end up treating other people the same way that we treat things.
Yeah, because everything becomes one, It's kind of like about your perspective.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard to differentiate between everything that you interact with if you're moving through life at a breakneck speed. Yeah. And if you're also physically uncomfortable or psychologically uncomfortable on top of that, that will make you behave in ways that maybe if one were to slow down and like observe themselves, they wouldn't feel proud of behaving that way. But, certain regrettable actions or words said didn't have to happen. And, other times we're caught up in a moment and, well, it happened anyway. So we gotta like live through it. Yeah. But I think there are certain tendencies where we focus solely on ourselves and attending to ourselves. That could be written off as a negative behavior, but I think in those like right moments where the only person who could possibly comfort you is you, like I think engaging deeply with your mirror reflection can help ground you.
And so many people in society actually kind of need to lean more into I am the most important person in my life. And that could be, I guess that could be in alignment with moving into like a narcissistic space if you took that too far. But at the same time, like, you should be the most important person in your life. And a lot of people put other people first so often that it becomes like a corrective behavior that you have to, like, I've recently been like, I need to constantly be thinking like, what is best for me, you know, as opposed to thinking about how everything's going to affect other people and stuff. So,
yeah, not being so worried about it too, because there's an anxiety over, like, if you're constantly monitoring yourself, then you're losing track of the people around you. And if you've lost track of the people around you, like, are they suddenly more unpredictable than they were before you took your eyes off them? And that also, it's a vulnerability problem. And I think a lot of us are very uncomfortable with that vulnerability, so we try to know. And if we don't know, and it takes a long time to know, if it's not something you're automatically immediately interested in or good at, you'll toss it. And perhaps a pathology in narcissism makes one unable to develop capabilities in childhood that allow them to more flexibly understand their options. So everything becomes more grounded only in what the self wants, which is like very much like an ego-y kind of thing. So maybe that's the pathology. But I do think, to your point, Adam, politicians, government officials are elected and unelected individuals who hold like just immense positions of power in this country.
Right, leadership positions. People who need to make large decisions, I think, and not keep the individual in mind.
Sure, I think that's the burden of a leader. It seems like there's
some kind of use for that. Yeah.
The burden of a leader is like the higher up you are, the less people look like people down on the ground. So that's a problem. Crazy. But if you want to be a leader and you're fighting hard to be a fucking leader, I'm suspicious of you. Just personally speaking.
I hear that.
And I don't necessarily like the leaders I benefit from. My my fantastic employers, for instance, people who I absolutely trust to make sure that my paycheck arrives on time, who will like honor what I provide to the workspace in a professional manner. Like, these people are still in charge of directing a company which functions as its own body. My body is a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. Yeah. So, like, I have to make sure that I'm not hitching my horse, just too tightly to something that needs much more flexibility. This relationship, like professional relationship that I have with my employers.
Yeah.
And if I hold my employers at arm's length, and these are people who have given me absolutely no reason to not trust them also as human beings, but I maintain a professional distance, then there's no fucking way that I would ever trust a politician walking up to me to shake my hand, to I'm just introducing myself. Like, I don't believe it. Yeah. I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, like, I think wanting to step up into those, like, major positions of power denotes a certain personality type. Yeah. Of someone who's willing to do whatever it takes, perhaps. And maybe doing whatever it takes means not necessarily being too influenced by the pain of those, like, far, far below. Right, and, like, that's what is a, kind of a lack of empathy, but in the same way that can be resourceful to them. I mean, that's really resourceful for a doctor. If they had empathy, they wouldn't be able to do what they do. Well, of course, doctors have empathy, but, you gotta, like... You can't, like, body sync with the person in front of you while you're trying to help them.
And I know that's one of the most common...
Okay, fair enough.
Surgeons are...
It's part of their vibe, is like, I don't have empathy, I am not putting myself in your experience, and that enables me to tell you these terrible things, do these things that I know scientifically and logically. And I do think that is partly because, like, certain, professions and, like, people that go into those professions have their brains are wired in certain ways. They're very scientific, very. I don't really like the idea of like right brain, left brain because I think that's kind of
a little big.
outdated.
Yeah.
But the empathy is a more emotional skill, So if you're working on all of your reasoning and logic skills, it makes sense that these other ones are going to atrophy.
Or you don't necessarily see the purpose of putting them into practice in the work setting because it's just simply not a tool that serves you getting through a day of just endless caseloads.
Yeah,
I guess I think something we can all agree on probably is that being a human is exhausting. Like being conscious is fucking exhausting.
That's why sleep is so great.
Sleep is amazing.
Yeah,
we should all get
invest in
more of
sleep, everybody. That's the thesis of this podcast.
Yeah, invest in sleep.
Yeah, sleep mask.
I keep hearing that. Tim Ferriss talks about that, how important sleep is in his life.
Yeah. Who is Tim Ferriss?
Tim Ferriss is my favorite podcaster.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I think I've heard the name.
He's really something. He has some great conversations, and he's got some real darkness, and I think I always appreciate that. That's really important when I'm trying to take anyone's advice on anything.
Yeah.
Darkness is important.
It's pretty important.
I recently got a silk pillowcase.
Ooh.
I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, is this even going to be a thing? Is it going to be anything?
How's your hair?
I guess,
But has it changed how you wake up in the morning? No longer with your hair out like a puffball. It's just silky and all ready to go.
I'd say I'm still pretty puffball-y, but I do feel like it is less intense, because I'm a side sleeper.
Oh, that's right. You're a side sleeper.
I think it's less intense of a squish face,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I'm hoping.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've only heard from the silk pillowcase lobby that it'll transform your hair. It's just so much better for your hair to sleep on. But yeah, I guess it's better for the skin too.
Yeah. And it is not bacteria. Cotton will hold more bacteria than a silk pillowcase does. So I was like, I never wash my pillowcases, so I could probably get a silk pillowcase.
There you go. Get a silk pillowcase.
I'm doing it. It's
Awesome.
working.
I wonder if we can find a sponsor.
Yeah. That'd be tight.
I want some silk pillowcases.
Or we could
if
invent
we're looking
one.
for a sponsor.
Let's invent a sponsor right now. What do we call it? Silk the shock hair. No, silk.
Silky slips.
Silky slips?
Yeah, you put them on your pillows.
Silky slips.
Yeah.
For all your pillows.
There we go. That was their jingle.
Cool.
That was a nice one. It's catchy,
Mark Cuban, call us.
I've been trying to peel through my people, and I'm like, who is a narcissist? And something I do experience. What?
Mark Cuban, actually.
Who's that?
He's the one of those guys who's on Shark Tank. He's a billionaire. Made a lot of money doing something, spends a lot of money doing other things.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
those guys.
Helping other people make their businesses, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, except
I love
as long as
angel
he gets
investors.
investment returns,
we love angel investors.
But I know so many people that will, you're in a conversation with them, and it's just them saying things about themselves, oftentimes just talking about all their accomplishments, or all these past times in which they lived these amazing things, and you're like,
oh, word, you're special.
Taxing.
you're like,
It can be
oh,
taxing.
tell me more.
It can be taxing, yeah.
Yeah, but
I've been guilty of
does
it.
this make them a narcissist?
Not always.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that it's just a bad social habit.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
And I'm often hired in those circumstances, and people will not, it's my time that they have purchased, so they will use it in whatever way they choose.
Sometimes people only
people
know
do
to
that quite a
talk
bit,
about
actually.
themselves to have a conversation.
That's true
I think
too.
that's the thing. It's the only way to feel connected is to just talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make the other person feel very connected to you, but
Sure. And lonely people do it too, quite a lot. And I think
nervous people.
So it's there are so many contributing factors to that
Yeah.
Very specific bad behavior.
Yeah. That's just
But
something I encounter all the time that I'm like, that's the only thing that I'm like, is this the narcissism that I interact with?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, then there's, like being in relationships with people will often give you long-term exposure to their behavior. So I think relationships are often the places or the situations we find ourselves in, observing that kind of like actual narcissistic behavior. It's because it's sustained over a period of time.
Yeah.
You keep asking for something and the person keeps ignoring you. Even though they hear you, they understand that's what you want, but they just won't give it to you, and they won't give you an explanation as to why. Behavior like that, withholding, neglectful behavior, I think comes rooted in a sort of detectable, maybe narcissism in a person. But then, maybe after that relationship ends, they go on to a relationship after that, and they find that they want to try being very giving. And suddenly that person is very different in another relationship, even though the relationship you were in with them was not good.
Well, and sometimes we slip into these
Ain't that the breaks?
patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From experience. But I, in a relationship will bring out in someone and they will bring out in me certain personality traits and stuff that, I look back on and I'm like, we brought out really weird parts of each other that I haven't been in another relationship that like brought that out necessarily.
Yeah, thank goodness. That's how you know when someone's not right for you, is when you find yourself in a relationship being like, what did I do?
Yeah, what did I do?
Who am I?
Yeah. I just
totally.
That's some more relatable content here in my personal world.
Yay.
I don't need to go deep into it, but
no, just that's to show you're not alone.
Yeah.
Go shallow into it though.
Shallow? Okay. I think
go shallow.
my behavior in a recent relationship was out of character, and I felt emboldened to behave and more judgmentally and hold opinions that are more cruel than I would have liked.
Yeah.
It all took place in here. It all took place in here.
Yeah.
It's all my fault and responsibility. But yeah, that was, they do. You're not always aware of these things that are happening from influence.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes, it really surprises you the way you act.
Yeah.
You can really stress yourself out, like agonizing over your own behavior.
Oh yeah.
Glad you're not in that relationship anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's important to give yourself grace for your thoughts, though.
That's fair.
Because, I think really weird things.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna get mad at myself for all those crazy things I'm thinking.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm not living them out. I'm not putting them into reality.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I think that's very relatable content. I told one of my best friends the other day, because we go deep.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I have impulsive thoughts. These intrusive, impulsive, violent thoughts that I'm like, where is this coming from? But it's inside me. It's this animal part of me that's wants to experience chaos.
Well, and I think too we resonate with the chaos that's surrounding us. I don't think that we would necessarily be as startled by our own inner worlds if the outer world around us wasn't constantly feeding that inner world with nightmare fuel.
Okay, fine. I'll change the setup for the show. I get it. It's a little loud.
But yeah, no, that's that's how it is, though.
Yeah.
The inner world is affected by the outer world, and your uniqueness and creativity creates that inner world that can't be explained to others and shouldn't have to be, because that's your relationship with every one of yous inside there. Which is what makes it really cool. It's the only thing you can take with you after all this goes.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it is heavily impacted by whatever bullshit like we're absorbing through our skin from the outside.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really hard to cope with. I think the violent imagery in particular, just I've struggled with intrusive thoughts my whole life, and the beginning of my life, like age 5 onwards, fucked up. So like I carry a lot of that around with me, like that sort of the behaviors and thought processes that don't serve me very well. Like they compound over time. They kind of
From
grow.
that time period, though, you feel like it's...
Oh, yeah, like, just my whole life has sort of been a brooding on certain, like, core traumas that happened when I was very young. And then every time a successive trauma would happen, no matter how, unfortunately, quotidian and common, I would find everything from the past would just be, like dredged up from the deeps.
It's immediate,
Right.
right?
So I think that too like contributes quite heavily to like just what cooks inside the inner world, especially if it's parts you don't normally explore or express. So we need to
or
hear
there's
ourselves.
like no space to express these things.
Sometimes shit pukes out. Like like you expel something that's horrible because there's no room. Exactly.
Yeah.
Need to forgive ourselves for these things, just like the people who love us most hopefully maybe forgive us for them as well.
Totally.
Anyone you need to say a message to or apology?
I don't think I have anyone I need to apologize to right now, thank goodness. But I'm always ready to apologize. So
That's good.
just let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know what I should say.
Let's
sorry
just do one, just as an exercise.
I am so sorry that I did that or said that.
Here,
You
let's
tell
give
me.
let's give
Yeah,
it-
no, like, just explain to me what I did wrong and let me know what I can do to make it up to you, please. That's
That felt
okay.
good.
All right, I'll do
I'm
one.
glad you liked hearing that. I'm sure you needed to hear that.
All right, I'll
from
take
someone.
I'll take my turn apologizing next.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I see you looking at me and then yourself and then me again. And
Fucking dick.
I'm sorry
you're watching this right
I'm sorry that things went that way. And I really mean it despite the laughter. Really didn't mean to do all that. But, I hope one day you can see me in a different light. All right, you feel like apologizing or we're just going to move on?
I'm not sorry. And you can eat a dick.
Hey,
That's
I like
good.
that. Yeah. I'm not sorry. You can eat a dick. Yeah, that was very smooth.
All
I'm
right.
happy to apologize to people I care about when I feel I've done something wrong.
When it's right, yeah.
But, a lot of the time I'm like, is it me? Is it your interpretation?
Are you just
Or
wrong?
are you wrong?
Yeah.
Let me make you question your reality, which is really fucked up and probably a narcissistic trait.
Keep an
I
eye
don't
on that one, sister.
Who knows?
Yeah, because that could come to fruition in your 30s really badly for you.
I'm in them, babe.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Every
Here we
improv
are.
scene you get to do
Uh-huh.
is just a masterclass of manipulation from your end.
Really. But I do, I feel like in the more recent years, I have been having a reclamation of what do I need to apologize for? Haven't been asked to apologize for too many things in my life.
Probably.
Mhm.
I think so. So I take a look at when people are like, you need to apologize to me. I'm like, let's look at that.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think that's an important
Are you ever that way?
thing to do.
Mm.
Me?
Yeah. You ever? I find myself in that position, that way of thinking occasionally, where I think that someone owes me an apology, or that that I don't know, owes me. I'm exaggerating here for emphasis, I think.
To
Yeah.
you want to hear it from them?
Yeah. That it'd be real nice because they were a real jerk or so. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like
But-
I also
I think
can't
that
get over things.
the anger is what drives that.
Quickly.
Not sure what my question was.
I know. I was wondering it too.
Yeah.
Am I ever like that? Yeah, I'm probably like that for sure.
I mean, as a barista, like working in the service industry, you often find yourself like encountering weird little attitudes throughout the day.
Oh yeah.
And I'm a brewder, so like I like to be on the bar where I'm making the coffee, because it allows me to like sink into my thoughts while I make drinks. And yeah, a lot of the time the thought I'll have is apologize to me, just to everybody, just like to every customer, like say you're fucking sorry, or like like say thank you, please, just like acknowledge me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm a human.
Yeah.
I interact with people on a customer service basis now that I own a company.
Right.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's not a fun thing.
It's been really hard for me to not bite back because that is me. I'm very much like a bite backer. You know, people will be like, I'm having problems. I'm like, then what the fuck did you do wrong? You know? And like, that's not what you should do if you're a customer service person. But it's hard because a lot of the time it's like, I know that this is a user error, and you're not willing to accept that.
Yeah.
And I can't do anything about your lack of acceptance of responsibility for this.
Yeah.
But I have had to like figure out how to say things more gently, more nicely, you know. And that's my cross to bear. But it's,
it's a heavy one, bro.
Yeah.
It's a heavy one.
Yeah.
Having to like, I don't know, having to augment everything you say to make sure you're the least offensive when your natural inclination is to be a little outrageous. I'm similar. I only know how to be intense, and sometimes it comes out a little much, and I'll like be the first to admit it.
Yeah.
Something will come out, and I'll immediately say, "I'm sorry." But like,
I see this and I'm sorry.
yeah, like it didn't mean for it to go like that.
Yeah.
But it's what happens when you're powerful.
Right.
You just can't control it sometimes.
Totally.
A powerful, yeah.
No, when the feelings are powerful
That's what it
and your
takes.
expression is clumsy, sometimes it comes out a lot.
And like when you're genuinely doing the best that you can, and someone wants to come at you with like meanness, I'm not willing to accept it.
That's not right.
I won't take that upon myself. I will not apologize. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm literally doing my best. If my website frustrated you, I'm willing to look into how to make it better. But I'm not going to apologize because you're mad at a machine. You know what I mean? This is a lot of like...
I'm so glad you're processing this right now.
Yeah.
This is great.
I should not be in a customer service role, ever. And it's terrible that I am put in one by my own devices.
The next stage of growth for the business, you'll hire someone.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure.
The delegation is coming soon, I think.
Good.
I'm getting better at it, though.
Yeah, business is good.
At delegating
Well,
or
no,
at...
just like, tactfully explaining things. Because a lot, more and more, I'm like, these are people I like, like, I respect you. I don't want this to be a bad time for you.
Yeah.
But I also can't say that's my bad if it's not my bad. Like, that is so outside of my personal, like, willingness,
Well, there's also, it's important to not say sorry when you don't need to fucking say sorry.
Right, and that's so cultural. Like, you're like in a train station or something, and you're like, "Oh, sorry," and it's like that's not good for anyone.
I definitely think the feminine set has had that drilled into their subconsciousness, like in a toxic way. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, we've talked
Compulsive
about this
apologizing.
Exactly.
on
That's
an
what I'm
episode
trying to
already.
detox.
Yeah, we definitely...
That's what
A lot of people recognizing that.
Good. Yeah. Don't apologize for like a year. See what it does, right? And 1 year, no apologies.
That's
You
a
have
challenge.
apologies.
Jeez.
Yeah.
there a prize at the other end of
I
that?
definitely do
That
things
seems
wrong.
that's quite a
For
challenge.
sure.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
no, you go a year without it, without saying I'm sorry, it's great.
Yeah.
You don't have to, like, go a year without admitting feeling culpable for something. You just find a different way to express it.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Right.
yeah.
I'm into that.
Well, certainly I think, as someone, like, raised a feminine person to embody a feminine role, I, like, apologizing was sort of, that was like verbal filler, almost. If you didn't know what to say, you could simply just say sorry. And, like, I didn't like that experience for myself, and I noticed so many of my feminine friends engaged in that behavior, like, just a compulsive apologizing to the point where, you repeat a word so much you wonder if you're pronouncing it right. I sort of didn't know if I was hearing the right word. Like among colleagues, for instance, it was their first week, And of course everything could go wrong. Like, that's their first week.
Yeah.
So the apologizing just coming rapid fire. And I just tell people don't apologize to me. I never need an apology personally. Save your apologies for anyone else, but, like, you don't have to do that here.
Yeah. And I'm very clear with people when I know that I need an apology. I go, I get it.
You go and you get that
it.
apology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm just not able to give that to other people.
That's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely can apologize. Like, with my partner and I, like, when we are, talking about stuff, it's like we can both accept responsibility for things.
That's probably the most important place to start.
Yeah.
With someone that close, it's like that's a mandatory thing.
Mm-hmm.
How you can collaborate and problem solve together.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it is, like, all of us, especially when you get deep into a relationship with someone, it's like, what's happening? Like, we're just like firing off of each other with our tiny traumas that are really hard to even quantify.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what is happening? Then it takes lots of conversations to figure it out,
Yep.
How long have you two been together?
Like 6 years.
Good amount of time.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
a cool
I think so.
commitment.
You know each other pretty well.
Break in the middle, yeah.
Breaks are good too. Sometimes you need to do that.
Needed, totally. Yeah, and it's been great. We're, like, very happy,
Oh yeah.
but it takes work. It's like anything.
Anything worthwhile.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time we don't realize that we make choices every day to keep doing things. But, like, when it comes to people, it's important. You should remind ourselves, like, we can choose every single day who's around us.
Mm-hmm.
And the practice of choosing someone over and over again feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
And
it.
that is an easy thing to forget.
That's sweet.
That is
like
a
to hear
choice
that.
every day.
It's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Good sentiment.
Very avoidant. So, like, if over the years, like, if anything went wrong,
You'd be out.
I was like, my immediate response was like, I should break up.
Yeah.
And it's been the constant struggle of, like, is that what you really want?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you being avoidant to conflict, to, pushing through this hard thing that is coming up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
is this an informed choice or are you scared?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's my, like,
Good,
got a lot of
good
process
insights
Yeah.
there. It's hard when you're sure.
from.
But you stand so tall. Either way. Just fine. Just
one less thing to fit, like, way down on me, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, those crosses ain't nothing.
Yeah.
You got this. You got this. But yeah, it's tough sometimes to like remind yourself that you engage in behavior. Sometimes it's easier just to
Just not be aware.
do the same thing every day. Yeah.
Mhm.
To not be aware of the choices you have in front of you.
Yeah. And
All
a
right,
lot of
so
people
my
do that.
choice-
They're like,
that I'm gonna make is to call this finished.
All right.
wow.
Yeah, already.
Wow.
That was a nice little segue there.
6
Real
hours.
smooth.
Yeah.
We were here for 6 hours?
Yeah, it's about 6.
No way. It's bright outside.
Or
I
yeah, I mean,
expect
we
some
took a break.
details
We
in a
started a
6
little
hour
late,
thing.
so I think that this seems like it's probably going to go over 2 hours.
Nice.
The thing. I don't think that podcast formats are kind of like they're not strict. It's not like a network TV
No,
show. or
everyone's
something.
making it
It
themselves.
doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Do you do
But-
podcasts as well, or like recorded stuff? Not all live.
I mean, I direct film sometimes.
Oh,
That is
right.
recorded.
You were saying you were doing some directing as well.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Um,
I just made a skin video. It's called Skin Be Touched.
Oh, that is so cool.
Skin video?
Yeah, you should plug that real quick.
It's like a bodyscapes.
Mhm.
Yeah, check it out. It's
Yeah?
called Skin Be Touched.
Skin be touched.
Skin be touched, one word.
No, it's
Or-
like skin, double dot, be touched.
Mhm.
And we did that because we're kind of hoping to turn it into a series. If we do,
Cool.
like,
You
more
should.
of them.
It was very, very good.
Yeah.
That was moving imagery.
Very quick, short video. I'll show you.
Yeah, wait, let me get my phone so I can actually listen to
We'll
it.
take a look at that. I'm gonna do the reveal here.
Yay, reveal.
So let's switch seats.
How does this work?
We switched seats, and I moved this camera
Do we?
so that you can see, so that you can both be on camera
Okay.
viewing the painting, and I can take your seat.
We took putting our shirts back on.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Ooh, on air. This is really cool. This like
That thing
live.
is really
Yeah,
special.
dude, you're
that,
right,
that, that replaces a human being.
Yeah.
It really does. It's so
Let the
So
robots
smart.
take our
yeah,
jobs.
so lovely.
Right.
Wow. This is great.
Yes.
Great shapes, great colors.
Totally. I like your hair.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh, I like that you're using the same reds, like similar red tones in both of our hairs, which I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, picks up on the like russety colors in the back. Something also I noticed while we were talking, so much green light is splashing up on our faces.
Yeah, I
right?
really liked how
Very
it was
cool.
on your side.
Uh-huh.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, I love all these greens.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Really good lighting.
I think this was a
You
good
made
one.
my
This was an
kids look
experiment.
Great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean,
This is so cool.
I
Yeah.
think this was
And then there's the blue light. I didn't
this was a
even
strong
notice that.
painting this episode. I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Will you be continuing to work on these while
No.
you do the series? Nope. So this is it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, great job, Adam.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun.
great color blocking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good.
Great job on the lighting too. I didn't even realize there was so much blue behind us
It's
on the wood.
bananas. It's very strange.
It's
So
nice.
I like these cheap LED light bulbs that you can change colors with at your phone.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it's the coolest
You
thing.
gotta
Oh, yeah.
send me a link to that. I want that.
Sure, you can
I have
get
a
those
couple
at
of
Home Depot.
those.
They're pretty cheap.
I just like this
Mm.
as a unit as well, like with
Cool,
the
right?
paints and stuff. Yeah, this is such a cool palette.
Yeah. Definitely
What is that called?
makes me
Sierra
wish I was a
something.
painter.
Mm-hmm. I know it looks so cool.
It does.
Just take it, put it out, and be like, I'm cool.
That
Alright.
smells nice.
So
Yay, good job, everybody.
first things last on painting everybody. All the time, every time.